Okay guys, you guys have been asking for it and I'm delivering it to you. In this video, I'm going to give you the top tips on how to score high on the ASVAB test. If you want to know what those tips are, make sure you keep on watching.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls, 'cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene.
Hey everybody, it's Armyprinncess here and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I am a U.S. Army soldier. I've been in the military for over 10 years now and I love helping you become the best soldier you can be through sharing my experiences and my knowledge. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So when most people think of the ASVAB test is a test that determines your score, and it also determines the jobs that you can qualify for when joining the military. So when you take the ASVAB test, the top tip that I want to give everybody, if you don't take anything away from this video, is to take the ASVAB test very, very serious. The mistake that I made when I joined the military is that I did not take it serious. My recruiter did not talk to me on how serious the ASVAB test was and how it could dictate your entire military career. So I took the test, I went in there, I didn't take it serious. I was like, oh, I just have to do this to check the block in order to join the military, and it's something that has followed me throughout my career, and it's actually stunted my growth on some of the things that I was not able to do in my military career because of my test score. So please, ladies and gentlemen, take it serious. Alright, so let's get right into the ASVAB test. So the ASVAB test is comprised of different subtests. There are four, ladies and gentlemen, four subtests that I need you to focus on. 4 and 4 only if you want to get the top jobs in the military. The first subtest that you want to focus on is arithmetic reasoning. This category in the ASVAB test has 30 questions. The second subtest is word knowledge. Word knowledge in the ASVAB test has 35 questions. The third subtest is paragraph comprehension. Paragraph comprehension has 15 questions. And the last subtest that you really, really want to take serious is mathematics, and that has 25 questions. You might be wondering, why are these 4 sections so important? Well, these 4 sections make up something called your GT score. And in order to get the best jobs, in order to do all these military programs that you hear about, you have to have at least a 110 or higher on your GT score to get the jobs. A lot of the job options are cut right in half because people don't score high enough on their GT score in order to get a really good test score and get a really good job in the military. So you can do all the research you want on finding the awesome job when you come in the military, but if you don't score high enough in these 4 categories, you won't even be able to qualify for one of those jobs. Now, how do I score high enough in these subcategories? You're probably asking yourself. There are a lot of resources out there, guys, in order to practice for the ASVAB test. If I type in ASVAB right now, there's so many practice guides that come up, so many printable tests that you can use. My #1 practice guide that I tell everybody is ASVAB for Dummies. ASVAB for Dummies is a book that I use, and it helped me score higher than I thought I could on my ASVAB test, because I took the pre-test just like y'all, and I did not do very good on my pre-test. My recruiter was like, you need to go back and you need to study a little bit harder. So I took I went to my local Barnes and Nobles and I got ASVAB for Dummies, and I saw a great improvement in my ASVAB score. There's also an online program called Cheat Sheet. So this is kind of like a practice test. It's going to give you an example of what the test looks like. You answer those questions and it's going to give you an estimated calculated score. So definitely go ahead and check that website out as well. I'll link it below in the description box. So you know what to study. You know the 4 categories you need to really be paying attention to, but you may not be a person that can take tests well. I want to suggest to everybody, whether you've been out of school for a long time or you just graduated, make sure you practice on your basic test taking skills. These skills can be the difference between you passing and you getting a very high score. So what are the test taking skills? Practice sitting down, practice taking a test, make sure all of your pencils are sharpened. Just get into practice when you print off these printable cheat sheets. take it serious as though you're actually taking the real test, so you can get in the habit of taking a test. Make sure you get a good night's sleep the night before. Make sure you get up early so you're not in a rush. Make sure you eat breakfast so you're not hungry. All of these tips will come into play on test taking day to help you get the best score you can get. So there are two versions of the test. One is a pen and pencil based test, the other is a computer based test. Most of the MEPS facilities are going with the computer based test just because it's a little more easier and hassle free, but the downside to a computer based test is that you can't go back and change any of your answers. So it's only going to show one question at a time. You answer that question and you move forward. Make sure you're not spending too much time on each question because the test is a time test. But with the difference between that and a pencil-based test is that a pencil-based test, you can go ahead and skip the harder ones, do the easier ones, and then go back to the harder ones. With a computer-based test, you will not be able to do that. The downside to a computer-based test is that it is an adaptive test. So what that means is that if you answer a question correctly, the next question is going to get progressively easier. If you answer a question incorrectly, the next question is going to be progressively harder. So you want to make sure you're doing your studying. You want to make sure you come in there well prepared and you're taking it very serious so that you can get the best score you can get. So because the test is timed, you want to, if you can, wear a watch so that you can time yourself. I would not suggest an Apple Watch or any kind of digital or smart watch because oftentimes they make you take those off before you go in because people can kind of cheat and put answers on their watch. But if you have a basic watch, I'm sure they wouldn't have an issue with you using that particular watch so that you can time yourself on the test. Try not to spend too much time on one answer. If it's something that you really can't figure out the answer to, just pick the best answer that you think and move forward. Another tip on picking the best answer is be consistent. So if you're going to go with C as the best possible answer, go with C as the best possible answer for all of your questions that you might have trouble answering. That way it increases the probability of you guessing correctly each time. Another tip would be to eliminate the obvious wrong answer. If you read through all of the questions and all of the answers and you just can't figure it out, try to eliminate the obvious wrong answers and limit it down to one or two and pick the best option that you think is the correct answer, but try to be consistent with that answer option. Alright guys, this is it. I'm just going to end this video here. It's just a short video on my top tips for 2019 and scoring the highest that you can on the ASVAB test. I'm going to do a quick shout out in this video to FeedSpot. They did feature me as one of their top 10 YouTubers. Yay! I don't know if y'all can see that, but that is my I have a little write-up under Armyprinncess, so make sure you go over to FeedSpot and check them out. I'm right under Matt Ward. Woo woo. But that's it guys. I hope that this video helps you. Please let me know in the comment section below which top tip you think is the best and which top tip you're going to use the next time you take the ASVAB test. Thanks guys. Bye.
Hey, if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like, what are you waiting on? Go now.
Hard work, work.